So this video you're about to watch, I had to repost because YouTube gave me a copyright infringement violation because Fox, the owner of the content, is taking it down across the internet. And this is footage of the US women's soccer team against Vietnam showing disrespect to the flag, what many people think they are. I think they are personally. But I guess people are now talking about it and now they don't want that footage to be shown. So all the more reason to do it. Now I took the video down simply because I couldn't edit it enough online. The video would not have made any sense because my introduction was all about the footage behind me. So it just wouldn't have been good. So I had to take it down. It had very limited views anyway. It wasn't very popular on the channel. And I decided maybe I shouldn't even show it. But I'm thinking, well, you know what? Maybe I should because, even if it gets low views, I think this should still be talked about because, the U.S. women's soccer team and their antics, anti-American antics, to me, it needs to be talked about, and not much of the media is covering this. So here's the video in its entirety, re-edited with screenshots reversed, so hopefully this will be fine with Fox. Not too long ago, the United States fought a bitter war against North Vietnam in the Vietnam War to help liberate the South Vietnam and to stop the end of communism in the southeastern portion of Asia. Well, we're a long ways off from that, as Friday, the kickoff of the 2023 Women's World Cup started and the United States played Vietnam for the first match. And what's interesting is that the country that we helped fight for is the country that seems to actually be proud of their country versus the country, ours, the US, they seemed blasé at best. And when you have someone like a Megan Rapinoe, who has a history of hating America, being nasty to America, disrespecting the flag, kneeling, and all that nonsense, it makes it very difficult for me to support this team any further. So let's jump over to the New York Post here. We have an article from Matthew Sadaka, says, fans blast USWNT over silence during national anthem at World Cup. The U.S. women's national soccer team was victorious in its opening match of the 2023 FIFA World Cup, but they're not winners to fans left fuming after the most of the athletes stayed silent during the national anthem. Here you see what they're talking about. Here you see the women standing, some with their hands over their heart, some singing, some not. But the optics here, especially when you compare them to those of the Vietnamese players, and all of them are singing, all of them have their hands over their heart, all of them are way more patriotic than the United States. I just can't ignore that. That here you have Vietnam, these players, by the way, don't make much money at all. The women's soccer team for Vietnam average about 3 million dongs a month. If you convert that to US dollars, that's about $131 a month or about $33 a week. But you look at the US women's national team, 9 of the top 10 paid athletes in women's soccer come from the US soccer team. Megan Rapinoe makes $7 million a year and Alex Morgan makes $7.1 million a year. And we also must say that Megan Rapinoe also gets about $6.3 million in endorsements. And she was an absolute nobody before all of this, but until she bent the knee and started acting crazy, going towards the woke agenda, that's how she was able to make her money off of the backs of Americans. Contrast that to people in other countries like Vietnam, this disparity or the equity is nowhere to be found. And guess what? Megan Rapinoe is not complaining about that at all.
Shocking.
That is really interesting. You hate America, but yet you don't want to talk about the disparity or the opportunities that you have here and the lack of opportunities that are over there. And you have to also understand that Americans bled and died for the Vietnamese people, and yet they're now, at least from my understanding, look to be more patriotic for their country than you are to yours. So I don't know about that. That to me is really, really a disgusting thing to see. I can't back this team as much as I want to. I just cannot. Someone says here, can someone teach the U.S. women's soccer team the words to the Star Spangled Banner? Another person, the New York Police Commissioner, Bernard Keydrick, said this: no one should be allowed to wear the American flag and represent the U.S. if they don't believe in it. Most of them don't even know the words. Here's a picture here of them. Now, Megan Rapinoe wasn't a starter, so she's not on the field, but you see here, here's the picture, and you come down here, you have a tweet here from 3-Sided Story. Most of the U.S. women's soccer players refuse to sing our great national anthem What a disgrace. And here we have what we saw earlier, the Vietnamese women, patriotic, holding the hands over their chest, loving the fact that they're there, not complaining about that their equity in pay is light years away from the U.S. women's soccer team. They're just doing their duty for their country. I want to read one quick comment here from a John Doe on the New York Post. This is a really good comment. I'm going to read this out verbatim. Their main problem is they think they should be paid what the men are paid. They aren't, because it's not about gender, and there is no such thing as equal pay in entertainment, which is where sports falls. It's about revenue, and the men bring in a lot more than the women. They are already getting an unfairly higher percentage of their revenue than what percentage the men were getting. But they cried so much, they got an even higher percentage. Though they make a lot higher percentage of income they generate than the men do, their income is still not as high. So they feel they're cheated and hate their country. It's no wonder nobody wants to watch these unrealistic, ungrateful, woke things living in an alternate reality of their choosing. Now, I must say the ratings were really high for this, so people are watching, but I think they're watching for a couple of reasons. One, because it's the World Cup. Number two, is not much going on. Number three, the U.S. is going for the third World Cup in a row, never been done. And so those reasons there, people may have even maybe forgotten the backlash from last time. But I think what will happen is if this gets out more and they continue on this, and especially if they bend the knee and talk and gripe and complain even more, then I think those rating numbers will come down. I, for one, will not be watching this because I am a person who loves America and am animally opposed to this wokest socialist agenda that's being propagated across the country.